Oh, hey. Hey, everybody. How's it going? It's me again. It's your old pal Mage. Welcome back to the Square to Circle music channel. We're talking about circles and squares tonight. That's right. Music appreciation and beyond. So, I wanted to do a new episode this evening. I created it all myself. This is the first episode in a new series that I'm going to call Tales from the Thrift. That's right. Tales from the Thrift. You know, remember those things, thrift stores? Remember how they used to be like, overflowing, chock full of all kinds of gems, a honeypot, if you will, of all kinds of a treasure trove of glorious treats that you could just like spend an entire rainy day just like plowing through all kinds of affordable, awesome shit that you could take home and clean up and render, all sorts of amazing things from. Yeah, those days are long gone, aren't they? Yeah, it was once so grand, and we all kind of exploited the shit out of it, but here we are in the days where, like, the resurgence or just the heightened popularity of vinyl records and, music collecting and whatever. It's not like it ever went away, but here we are again. And all of the bush leaguers are out in droves, like I said, taking over all of the secondhand stores en masse and taking all of our digging rights are being threatened. So, sorry, not meaning to seem like any type of hater, but it's frustrating, coming from, whatever. I don't even know what the old timers from, 20 years ago, what they must be thinking. But I mean, I've always been, a junk store guy my whole life. When you grow up poor, that's what it is. You buy your jeans and your t-shirts at the junk store. You go to Goodwill in St. Vincent de Paul, and then, when you're in high school and you discover rock music, you're like, yeah, that's where you get your music. And long gone are the days, 20 years ago, when you could pick up records for 10 for $1. I mean, shit, I remember going to Value Village, not but 15 years ago, and they were just trying to like, please take them, 20 for $1, and then one day you wake up 10 years ago and they're like, what, $1 for one record? And then the next year it's $1.99 for a record. Like, what the fuck? Even still, that was a pretty screaming deal. And now it's like, you're lucky if you can walk away from any place. Goodwill, St. Vincent de Paul, they're $2.99, $3.99 sometimes for a double LP. These secondhand stores want $4 and $5 for used records that are generally pretty fucking shredded. It's pretty sad and pretty awful, but it is what it is. It's the nature of the game, right? So, yeah, I honestly, for the last like probably 3 or 4 years, or maybe even more, I don't even bother anymore. It's kind of sad because that used to be one of my favorite things to do, alongside the rainy days spent, curled up on the floor, sitting cross-legged style, going through the dollar records at House of Records, and whatever else, going to the library just to stay warm and dry. That was one of the places you would go, was, the secondhand stores, the thrift stores, to just kind of like get out of the rain and you're amongst what you love, those musty old books and the, stinky old record jackets, and everything's dusty and musty, and it's lovely. It's just lovely. So yeah, but I'm getting back into it, even though you got to pay a little bit more money now. It's still, the thrill is still there. The thrill of possibly finding, a gem, or just the solace of of it all, of just kind of, digging through treasure troves of old, things that used to mean something to someone, and now they're yours, and now they mean the world to you. It's pretty cool. And I'm willing to pay those extra dollars now. So you can still find some really great stuff. And boy, did I. The other day I went thrift store digging for the first time in a long time. And so I wanted to share that stuff with you guys. Sorry, once again, long-winded introduction, major likes to hem and haw. But I'll get right into it. New series called Tales from the Thrift. And this is going to be all my stuff that I found at the thrift store recently. So let's get right into it. Lots of fun. You can still get cassettes most places, generally for like, $2 for $1, sometimes even $5 for $1. I think I got these $5 for $1 at Goodwill. I don't know what all the rest of you folks have around the world or in the United States, particularly, but here on the West Coast, we have what's called St. Vincent de Paul. So that's similar to like, Goodwill or whatever type of thrift store you folks have. And yeah, I got these there at $5 for $1. This first one, super stoked about this. Anyone that watches my show at all knows that I love dearly things of an instrumental nature, soft jazz, new age, electronic, ambient, that type of nerd music. And this one's especially nerdy. I love this stuff. A famous label called Narada Records, in the same wheelhouse as like ECM and Windham Hill and a lot of those kind of like, soft jazz and ambient electronic labels. Narada puts out a lot of great stuff. This is a really cool album called Woodlands. Sorry, I don't know if you can see this. Lots of glares going on here. Sorry, Woodlands. And it's just like, super hippie music. Lots of acoustic instruments, lots of earthy, flutes, and there's actually kind of some more Celtic style instruments in here. Anyone that knows anything about like the band Mannheim Steamroller and what they were doing with their Fresh Air series, very reminiscent of that. Yeah, I love this type of shit. It's really fantastic. I was really happy to find something like this. It's really, really good. I was, I've never heard it, and I popped it on this morning. I was just kind of expecting your kind of just, standard, nerd, new age album, but this, I was really pleasantly surprised. It's got some really fantastic pieces on it. I was just really uplifted. It really took me to a wonderful place. So yeah, Woodlands on the it highlights the few artists that are on it there. I can't read it, and you obviously guys can't read it, but yeah, check it out. Narada label, really fantastic. Yeah, another cassette, again, like in the same type of wheelhouse, that kind of new agey, ambient experimental stuff that I love, electronic music. This is called Hearts of Space. Volume 3, I believe. There's probably a whole series of them. But yeah, Hearts of Space. I think what this is, reading the ledger notes on the inside, which can be quite difficult on a cassette. You have to put on your reading glasses. Even me now, age 42, I can barely read a damn thing. Yeah, really fucking cool. I think what this is, it's a compilation album made by a guy, I think, that used to be a DJ for NPR. Because it's just got all that kind of classic, late night, Sunday night, electronic, spaced out, space music kind of shit. And he just compiled all this great stuff. It's got, Tim's Story on it, a lot of other famous names. So I was really happy to find this. It's really cool, for 20 cents. Yay. It sounds amazing. It sounds fucking fantastic. I don't have the greatest tape deck, but, hooked in through my hi-fi, man, it fucking sounds awesome. So really happy to find that. This one, oh my God, I was just tickled when I ran into this, because I've been wanting a copy of this forever. A copy of this shit on vinyl. I mean, you got to order it from like South Africa. That's the only pressing I think that they made, was probably a South African pressing. I don't know why the guy, he isn't South African. I don't know why. Sometimes there's these really unique artists that only, this was the early 90s. So obviously, the dead period in in vinyl and, in the record industry. So no one was really pressing anything. So you just have these like random weird pressings that only occurred like in the Netherlands or like South Africa or whatever. And that's it'll cost you $200 for this album on LP format. But, in the wild, you can find copies on CD and tape. And I just adore the shit out of this guy. I'm not going to pretend to know anything about guitar. I know anyone that watches my videos noticed that a couple days ago I covered an anti-war protest song by John Denver called Prisoners, and I sang a rendition of it quite shabbily. Thank you for anyone that commented on it. in a nice way. Thank you very much. Obviously, my first instrument is not guitar, and I'm not very good, but it was in the spirit of, you know, protest and anti-war sentiment. So I wanted to sing the song. But anyway, I don't portend to know shit from Shinola as far as it goes about guitar, but I love this guitar player. His fluidity and his sound and his composition style, because he of course writes all the music that he puts on his albums, and you know, he has players that play all the backing instruments, but he's the primary songwriter. It's just like butter. It just gives me a raging hard on. I just love the shit out of him. I'm talking about Pat Metheny. I love Pat Metheny, and especially this album, Secret Story. I was so excited to find a copy of this in the wild. Not like it would be that difficult. I mean, there's CDs floating around everywhere of this shit, but on cassette, really cool to find, honestly. Yeah, because I can put it in my truck now. I got a cassette player in my truck, and you know, there's reasons to have cassettes still. There really is. There truly is reasons to buy and own cassettes. Especially for me, and I fucking love this album. It's magnificent. Everything about it. It's just, like I said, it's got those really cool kind of world sounds. He mixes that jazz, that beautiful fluid jazz sound, mixed with like crazy world sounds and African rhythms and chanting and just all kinds of cool world influence. Very eclectic. This was like early 90s, I believe, like 90, probably 92. 91, 92, something like that. Love the shit out of this album. Really happy to find this. So yeah, that's another cassette that I scored. And this one, holy shit, this is the creme de la creme of my cassette finds. When I was digging the other day, I couldn't believe I came across this and found this in the fucking wild. A copy of Yes's Tales from Topographic Oceans. This is my favorite Yes album. They somehow managed to get every minute of music from that double LP that they released in 1973, all smashed into a single cassette. I don't know how they did it, but it's all on here. And it sounds pretty fucking good. Of course, it doesn't sound anywhere near as good as LP, but it sounds pretty cool. It sounds pretty good. It's really cool to just have a copy on cassette. I think they released this a year later on cassette in 74. But yeah, you know, it's just got the original art on there, and I was really tickled pink about this because, you know, Yes is one of my favorite bands, and this is my favorite Yes album. It's pretty neat to have. So yeah, super stoked to find that. Yeah, going into some more thrift store finds. This one, really cool, takes me back to high school. That's especially one of the things I love about digging through junk stores, is I always inevitably come across a lot of great stuff that I kind of passed over in my youth, and now I can revisit it for next to nothing, for almost no money. You know, like I'd be hard pressed when I was 14 or 15 years old to buy a copy of this from my local record store for, you know, whatever CDs cost in the early 90s. Way too much. $29.99 a CD used to cost us. Remember those days, everybody? Like late 80s, early 90s, when a CD was like damn near $30. But pretty neat to find stuff like this and revisit and go back into, you know, to the old days and revisit stuff that you remember and loving so dearly. This was a group called the Gin Blossoms. What was the album called? New Miserable Experience. I believe 1993. I want to say 92 or 93. 92. But yeah, it's got that, you know, big radio hit that they had, Hey Jealousy, and a few other things. It's been really fun to listen to. And it's, you know, $1. So I love finding, you know, great shit for $1 that is just like absolutely immaculate. Nothing wrong with it. No scratches, no nothing. So yeah, really happy to find that. Gin Blossoms. New Miserable Experience. Takes me way back. Another one that takes me way back. This gal. Whew. I remember when this came out for the first time. 1996. Boys for Pele. Man, this shit was haunting and crazy cool. Man, every girl I knew was just like immediately completely enthralled and just, you know, obsessed with this gal, and this album's really haunting and really fucking great. It's really long. There's like 18 tracks on this album. There's a lot of music. Moments borderline gets a little pretentious and a little drawn out, in my opinion, but it was worth the dollar, and it's, you know, worth it to anyone that appreciates her artistry. And, you know, she's a wonderful pianist, and what an amazing songwriter. And her vocal styling's unique, really cool, haunting, like I said. There's definitely, at least, it's, you know, worth buying just for a couple tracks. The Father Lucifer song is pretty fucking cool. It's a lot of great songs in this album. So yeah, 1996's Boys for Pele. I'm stoked to pick that up for $1, you know. And again, it's, I mean, it's just everything's in immaculate condition. Stoked. Pretty good find. Another one that tickles my nerd my nerd bone, my nerd strings, plucks my nerd strings real good. I love the shit out of this guy. He's one of my very, very favorite electronic artists. I can't believe I found this. You never see this album anywhere. This is one that he released right after his very famous stretch of albums, like in the mid to late 80s and then early 90s. He did the of course, the incredibly famous, the one that put him on the map, Structures from Silence. And then the next one that really made him huge too, I believe early 90s, maybe it was like 89. Anyway, Steve Roach. And this is an album by Steve Roach. It's just called Origins. When he started getting really out there, he took a trip to Australia and learned a whole lot about the Aboriginals and their origin stories and what they talk about and the things that they believe in, their culture and their practices and stuff about, you know, how they believe that they're from, you know, direct descendants of star people. You know, the aliens came down and they're star children, and it's just really fantastic, cool shit. And it's all set to music. There is like 6 songs on here, and they're all 18 minutes long. Fucking really cool. I love Steve Roach so much. Finding this in the wild for me was a real treat. So $1 for absolutely immaculate, pretty rare album. So really happy about that. Really cool find here as well. Still in the shrink. You can hear that, right? Everybody hears that. Still in the shrink. Dude, the best of the Doobie Brothers, the first volume. They did 2 volumes, I believe. This was just the big one, the first one. I have this on vinyl too. But still in the shrink, like, get the fuck out of town. For $1? Hell yeah. Now I can put it in my car, and me and my son can clap our hands and sing Blackwater and fucking all of them, dude. China Grove, listen to the music. Oh man, Jesus is just alright. Oh yeah. Oh man, fucking love the Doobies. Unopened for $1. Way cool. I was really stoked to find that. Yeah, moving along. What else did I get? Oh man, I got a really awesome coffee mug. I love this. This is great. 99 cents. Nice shade of red, white on the inside, ergonomic, like, it's just perfect. My new favorite coffee cup. Yeah, so here's my vinyl finds, everybody. I know that's what you've been waiting for. Nothing amazing, but, you know, like I said, when you find something for $2 and the wax is just immaculate, like, you can't pass it up. I just found a great bunch of shit that just, you know, happy to add to my collection. I need to branch out. I need to expand my horizons. You know, everything you got up here, a whole chunk down here, and then a few in the back. You know, I keep everything to I'm a minimalist. Okay, I've talked about this before. I'm also a vendor here in the greater Pacific Northwest. I like to do, when we were having record shows, I'd do record shows here in Eugene, Oregon, Springfield, Oregon, you know, Portland, Seattle, whatever else, anywhere I could, you know, get a table spot at a show, sell records. You know, there's other, you know, big record stores in town that, you know, will charge you rent for a table in their upper loft, and you can do that kind of thing, like what Crossroads does, like in Portland, you know, that type of thing. There's a bunch of people that do flea markets here in Eugene, that type of thing. And so I've always been that guy. So it keeps a constant flux, of, ins and outs. I'm that type of guy for some reason. I don't like to let my collection get overwhelming. I'm just that way. I'm just that type of person. It's really cool to see everybody else too that has just like their whole wall. Just that I at one point in time, probably about like 6 or 7 years ago, I had 1,200 records, and I was living in this dingy, shitty little apartment downtown Springfield, hauling all this shit up and down stairs all the time. 1,200 records, dude. Like I was never listening to anything. I couldn't listen to any of it. It's just too much for me. That's just my style. Everyone's got their own way to collect. I dig it. It's cool. I like to spin everything I have all the time. And I like to keep track of and remember everything I have. And so I keep a constant flux of in and out, and stuff goes to record shows, and I sell, I'm kind of constantly buying and selling. I like it. It's a lot of fun for me. The game, you know what I mean? The game. Where was I going with this? I don't really remember, but I like to keep things in and out. And so, like I said, these selections that I run through, I get them for cheap. I enjoy them for a while. I clean them up. And if anything doesn't really get, a spot in my heart and then get stuck up on the main shelf, it moves along and it goes to somebody else who will definitely appreciate it and love it more than me. That's just my style. So now I'm back to kind of like trying to like kind of buy cool new things to expand my horizons, out with a little bit of the old stuff that I know I don't listen to anymore, inviting some of the newer stuff in. Let's get something flowing into Major's collection beyond just kind of like, the ambient electronica, metal, that type of stuff, tons of prog rock, whatever. I'm trying to branch out here a little bit. So that was the modus operandi, I guess you could say, the inspirado for hitting the junk store and trying to get some new flavors, some new tastes, some new things in my. I've always been a big fan of some country music, most country music, and most kind of classic country music before it kind of started getting bastardized by the music industry, circa like 1990 Garth Brooks era, you know what I mean? Early 90s. All that dumb shit that my cousins tried to brainwash me into. I like kind of the older stuff, what I was hearing like in the 80s, 70s, and 80s. And this being one of those cats, obviously. The album, Music Man by Waylon Jennings. Anyone that has been watching my episodes noticed that I incorrectly stated that the Highwaymen, I mentioned the Highwaymen as one of my favorite supergroups, because they truly are. I love the shit out of Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson, Chris Christopherson especially. And then I mistakenly, accidentally, include the name of Merle Haggard in there, which is incorrect, obviously. Waylon Jennings was the fourth Highwayman. One of the dudes that I don't really know a lot about and haven't really listened to very much. So I made a point, and I saw this cool album called Music Man by him. I like the jacket, the art. It's kind of this cool, like, it reminds me of like, the Superman logo from the first Superman movie, like in the 80s or late 70s, I believe. Just reminds me of that. Cool pictures of him. And yeah, even has the W on the back. So excited about this one. The wax is absolutely pristine. You can't get any better or any luckier for $1 or so with that kind of stuff. So I'm excited to get a little bit more intimate with my pal, Waylon. Stoked about that one. Here's another one, that an artist that I don't really know very much about. Never really have, except for I know of his, career in entertainment as a voice character artist for the show South Park. Obviously, talking about Isaac Hayes. I don't really know a ton about Isaac Hayes, but I know that he is a purveyor of everything really soulful, funky, loving, just R&B, just awesome shit. So I was really stoked to find this. The wax, like I said, is immaculate. I can't wait to get this, warmed up on the player and really get to know it. The album's called Joy. I'm not sure when it was released. Looks like 1973 on the Enterprise label. Nice clean wax. Yeah, really cool. Excited about this one. Look at how excited he is right there. Album called Joy. So Yeah, man, what a stud back in the day. Look at that dude. Yeah, excited about that one. I need more classic R&B and funk and soul in my collection. So there's a good start, right? Excited about that one. Here's another classic that I've had this, everyone has, hundreds of times. Every time you find one and you're like, ooh, that's a lot cleaner than the one I have. That's another great part, obviously, about, junk store digging. You'll inevitably always come across, copies of stuff that you've had, second copy, third copy, fourth copy, and every time you want to try to get one that's a little bit better. Very good plus. Ooh, I found one that's excellent. Ooh, I found one that's near mint. This one is probably as close to, I'd say, an excellent copy that I've ever had of this. Simon & Garfunkel's Sounds of Silence. This one, in my opinion, has a list of far better songs than the Parsley, Sage, Rosemary, and Thyme album. Much greater list of their big hits that I really enjoy and love to death. And this shit is fucking, it's damn near excellent quality and condition. There is absolutely no seam splitting. There's no creases or corner cuts. Everything is, there's no, cat barf on it or anything like that. The vinyl is shimmering and shining. There are no, hairline scuffs or scratches. It plays through absolutely immaculately. Got really, really lucky about that. And I love the shit out of Simon & Garfunkel. Songs like We Got a Groovy Thing Going, Kathy's song, Sounds of Silence, I Am a Rock. Yeah. Love the shit out of these guys. Stoked to find such a clean copy of that. So another one that is going to start getting some more spin time because I need to get more familiar with rhythm and blues and classic soul music. Group that I had to research. Found this though, and it looked interesting, looked cool. I love anything that is classified as soul and funk. So fuck yeah. Group called the Blackbirds. Yeah, their album Flying Start. I guess the title or the name of the band taken from a man named Don Bird, with the spelling B-Y-R-D. I guess he was a trumpeter out of college. And he got a bunch of his students that were in his, probably a jazz ensemble, and said, hey, let's start a funk fusion disco kind of band or something like that. And bam, the Blackbirds are born. Cool looking dudes. Shit's in really great condition. 1974 on the Fantasy label. I don't remember Fantasy putting out a lot of R&B and funk artists. Maybe I'm wrong, but yeah, pretty stoked about this one. So I'm gonna start getting me into some R&B, some funk. Looks cool, looks fun. So excited about this one. Here's one that is kind of more, I wouldn't say up my alley. I mean, it is up my alley, but this is something more that you folks would come to expect from a guy like me, from a fucking straight, square white guy like me. This is definitely the type of shit that I'm constantly talking about. The modern Mandolin Quartet. But yeah, I mean, I love this beautiful stark photography type of art on the cover jackets. And this is a label that I've never heard of. It's an adjunct of Windham Hill. I talk about Windham Hill a ton, soft jazz, electronica, label from the late 70s, early 80s, but this is like a subsidiary of that called Lost Lake Arts, the label. And they put out some of the lesser known, kind of more like up and coming artists that aren't kind of big enough yet for the Windham Hill label, I guess. But look at these fucking nerds, dude. Pretty awesome. But yeah, the couple mandolin players. One guy plays the mandocello, and the other guy plays the mandola. So all different sizes of the mandolin. Pretty awesome stuff, though. I like this kind of stuff. Just dripping with Celtic roots, Celtic folk type of stuff. And I love this kind of stuff. So modern Mandolin Quartet. Excited to find that one. This one goes down in history as being kind of like, classic piece of Americana, film history. I mean, it's nothing like super classic golden age or whatever, but everyone remembers seeing it around in the early 80s. It was a monster of a film, and it won awards, I'm sure. Put this actor on the map. God, what is his name? I feel bad for forgetting. Lou Diamond Phillips, that's right. I'm talking about the very famous La Bamba soundtrack. I mean, just that song, it's worth it. I mean, like I said, I pick it up. The wax is fucking immaculate. I pick it up for $1. I'm gonna spin the shit out of it for like a day, listen to the title track La Bamba like 3 or 4 times and dance around in my underwear, and I'm gonna get my kicks, and then I'm gonna put it in the box and sell it at the record show for $1 or $2. It's the game, dude. It's fun. And I just love that cool fucking picture of Lou Diamond Phillips. It just reminds me of my childhood. And what a cool movie. Everyone thought this was such a... honestly, dude, I think I've only seen the movie probably one time, and that was probably 25 or 30 years ago. So, yeah, don't hate me, but fucking La Bamba. Whatever. Gotta have a copy of La Bamba. And like I said, it's in perfect condition. So it's kind of a cool find for $2. All right, moving along. I'll get to the end of it here, folks. I know I'm just rambling, but it's been really fun to show you all of my vinyl, finds from the thrift stores and all the cool ephemera that you can get. So thanks for hanging out with me. Once again, while I got you here, while we're taking a break from all this, don't forget to head on over to the Instagram and say what's up on the Instagram and follow me, Square the Circle Records on Instagram. Like and subscribe to everything I got for you. Scroll down in my video history and look at my video history, and I put out a contest video. I want all you fucking nerds to go down and sign up for the contest. All you have to do is tell me the 4 albums that you would take with you to a desert island. If you were stranded on a desert island, hopefully what's the 4 albums that you would have on you to help you survive? And then you put those 4 albums in the comment section on said video, on that video. So I know who you are, and I know that you've commented, and subscribe to my channel, please. And then you're entered into a contest to win some neat crap. It's fun. So let's do the fun games things. Subscribe and like. Thank you all very much. I'm just going to finish talking about a couple more things that I found at the junk store the other day. So, classic American artists. You can't get out of a junk store or a record store for that matter without finding, multiple copies of multiple albums by this guy. But this one is especially cool because it's a double album that has basically all of his greatest songs ever written. And he's just fantastic. Anyone that doesn't like this guy can go fuck themselves. I don't trust anybody that doesn't appreciate Neil Diamond for who he is and what he's given the world of popular music. I mean, give me a break. One of the best just songwriters of the modern era. Like I said, y'all can go fuck yourself. If you can say you don't like Neil Diamond, that's fine. But you can't deny the fact that he is an incredible songwriter. And this being just an amazing double album that he put out of all of his greatest hits. It's in magnificent condition on that Bang label. I love that label. It's such a cool logo. But yeah, everything. I'm a Believer, Monday, Monday, Cherry Cherry, Solitary Man, Shiloh. I mean, everything. The only one that doesn't have Red Wine, it doesn't have I Am I Said. I can't believe that. A double LP with everything, all of the most magnificent shit he ever wrote, but it doesn't have my favorite song by him, which is I Am I Said. But whatever, it's on the radio all the time. So, but what a cool album, cool guy. And like I said, it's in absolute magnificent condition. Got super lucky. I love that Bang label. I don't know what it is about the logo for the Bang label. I don't recall any other artists who in the comments, somebody let me know who else is on the Bang label. There's got to be someone else of note on that label, or if it's maybe just that label was just created by Neil Diamond or for Neil Diamond specifically. I don't know, but yeah, I was stoked to find this in such great condition. So I'm gonna hold on to this one for a while because honestly, I like spinning fucking Neil Diamond sometimes, man. It makes me feel good. Reminds me of my mom. All right, this will be the last one. Thanks again for hanging out with me, everybody, here at Tales from the Thrift. I was really fucking stoked to find this one for a couple bucks. I mean, everyone's come across copies of this in the wild, like over and over and over again since the dawn of man. And it's always super fucking thrashed every time. It's always just hammered, just like somebody took a knife and just fucking marred it up. And like, I don't know why. And for some reason, these guys, every pressing they ever did of all their albums on whatever label they were involved with, they were involved with numerous different record companies, but the pressings were always just like super cheapo, flimsy, thin vinyl, like horrible. And then, like I said, they're always just fucking just thrashed, dude. It would always make me so upset. I'm not like a huge lover of these guys, but when it comes to like classic Americana, rootsy kind of like, you know, everyone loves the shit out of CCR. I don't care who you are. And to find this copy of Willie and the Po' Boys, dude, like, give me a break. It's in fantastic condition. I couldn't believe myself. Amazing. I got so lucky for a couple bucks. I'll hold on to this one for a while. That Fantasy label, just everything, you know, Down on the Corner, Cotton Fields. Dude, the last track on the A side is called Feelin' Blue. You guys remember that song? Obviously, they didn't write it. Fucking John Fogerty didn't write half of his career. It's all taken from, you know, amazing black musicians throughout history. But, you know, that, I don't know who wrote that song. Somebody researched that for me and put it in the comments. The song Feelin' Blue. And it's probably goes down in history as being one of their lengthier tunes. It's like 5.5 minutes. As well as the final track on the album. It's like 6.5 minutes, called Effigy. Really great fucking song. Midnight Special is on here. Fortunate Son is on here. Yeah, another one that I'm going to probably hold on to for a while. It probably won't go in the record sale bin, the record sale box. I put this on for my son, and he was like, the moment I dropped the needle on it, and he was like, bum, 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 bum. My son started dancing around. He's like, what's this, Dad? This is great. Because I'm always just, you know, spinning nerd music, electronica, metal, and fucking weird fucking prog is like probably a breath of fresh air for my 8-year-old son to like just hear some nice foot stomping early in the evening, you know, just about supper time. My son just starts dancing around and shaking his legs. He fucking loves this album. So I'll keep this album around for my boy. He likes it. Thanks again for hanging out with me, everybody. That's my junk store finds for the week. Maybe I'll try to start doing this like every week or two, and I gotta start hitting the junk stores more often. It's so much fun. I love the shit out of it. So I love the shit out of you guys. Thank you very much for sitting with me for so long and listening to me jibber jabber about all this. But don't forget to like and subscribe to everything I got you. Check me out on Instagram. Go join my contest, and yeah, keep it real. Peace in the crease.